Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Immigration Fridays. Today, we have a very special episode. We're dedicating this entirely to family based petitions. So, if you have a brother, sister, married child, or spouse to join you in the United States and you're waiting for them to join you in the United States, you should watch this episode. We're going to look back on the entire year of 2025 and we'll see exactly how the line moved for Indian based family applications, right from F1 to the F4 category. And we'll also give you some predictions on what we expect for 2026. So let's get started. First, the big picture. In 2025, it was a mixed bag. For some categories, we saw rapid forward movement, and some categories, we didn't see any movement at all, and for some, there was a slight movement. For example, for F2A, we saw a flurry of activity and rapid forward movement, and other categories, not so much. So let's break it down category by category, looking at first January 2025 and then seeing how the dates ended up in December 2025. Starting with the F1 category, that's the unmarried sons and daughters of US citizens. For India, this category started off with a final action date of November 22nd, 2015. And then by December 2025, this date moved to November 8, 2016. So there's a movement of nearly 1 year. And that sounds great, right? But here's the catch. Most of that movement happened in a single jump around the month of October. For the rest of the year, the dates were largely static. Unfortunately, the dates for filing didn't budge and remained stuck at September 1, 2017. This tells us that while approvals are happening, the government isn't ready to accept new applications just yet. And that's why it might be that there was no forward movement. So it's a combination of things. The prediction of what the likely demand is going to be, as well as how quickly USCIS is moving to adjudicate cases that are already pending. If you look at the F2A spouse category, now that was a winner, as I told you before. If you go to the F2A category, this is for spouses and young children or minor children of green card holders. This category moved in the final action date table from 2022 to 2024. So there's a 2 year jump. If you look at the dates for filing table, that was a final action date table. If you look at the dates for filing table, we saw this date advance almost every single month in the second half of the year. So by December 2025, the filing date reached November 22nd, 2025. This is huge. It means that if you're a green card holder and you're petitioning for your spouse, they are likely to be able to file for adjustment of status almost immediately or even concurrently if the dates move um, to be current, and that's not beyond the realm of possibilities if the F2A is moving so quickly for India. Now looking at F2B and F3, there's a waiting game there. The F2B is for adult sons and daughters of green card holders, and F3 is married children of US citizens. Honestly, for 2025, it was very slow. F2B, we saw about 6 months of progress over the entire year, and we ended the year with a final action date of December 1, 2016. For F3 category, the movement was about 14 months on paper, ending at September 8, 2011. However, the dates for filing, the dates where you actually can have new cases filed, did not move a single day. It has been frozen at July 22nd, 2012 for the entire year. This shows that there's a heavy backlog of pending cases and that USCIS is still working on those cases. For F4, siblings of US citizens, this is hard because F4 is brother and sister of US citizens. In this category, India has shown a much longer waiting line than the rest of the world. This year was volatile. We started off with a date of April 2006, and we saw a jump in April, and it was a retrogression, unfortunately. There was backward movement. Forget about it moving forward. And it retrogressed in July and recovered. And we ended up in December 2025, we ended up with a final action date of November 1, 2006, which means that after 12 months of waiting, the line effectively moved forward by only 7 months. The dates for filing ended up on December 15, 2006. So if you're in this line, I think it's frustrating. The demand for India simply overwhelms the 7% per country cap, creating this bottleneck. My prediction, let's look at my predictions for 2026 for Indian families. I would watch F2A closely. I predict F2A will remain the most active category. I won't be surprised if the dates for filing become current for some periods, at least in 2026. So if you're a permanent resident, do not wait to become a citizen to file for your spouse. File now if possible. But if you are a permanent resident and you cannot become a citizen, of course, look for these dates carefully. You might see forward movement. For F4 India, we'll continue to see a stagnation, that is sibling category. To be realistic, I expect in 2026 there'll be very slow movement, perhaps only 3 to 5 months of actual advancement for the entire year. We may even see another retrogression in the summer. Chart B, which is the dates for filing, might be your best friend. For F1, F2B, and F3, I predict Department of State dates for filing charts around October 2026 to build up. They will build up the inventory, so be ready to file in October. So we're expecting maybe October of next year, maybe there'll be some movement. But that again is technically the fiscal year for 2027. So wait and see is what I would say for the F1, F2B, and F3. Maybe slight forward movement by a few months, but nothing major. But hopefully in 2027 fiscal year, we're hoping to see some advancements. My final advice for 2026, do not let your priority dates expire if your date becomes current. In Chart B, as per the dates for filing, of course you will file immediately, and then at least you'll have a 485 pending, and then you can wait for your dates to become current. Filing a 485 gives you status and gives you work authorization, and allows you to travel. So it's a game changer. So if your family-based petition becomes available, even under the dates for filing, please do file your case. And that's it for this episode of Immigration Fridays. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, please like, subscribe, and let's navigate 2026 together.